The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Mostly overcast, but a little bit of blue sky, as you see, and no threat of rain, so we're happy about that. And happy to be here at the short track, Mike.
Yeah, we got the Camping World track description. 3/4 of a mile is Richmond Raceway. You can see the corners banked at 14 degrees. Front straightaway a lot longer than the back. That means you carry way more speed down into turn 1 than you do 3, making it a driver's racetrack. The sun, the slipperiness is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Look at our race analysis, how this thing will go down. 70, 70, 110 are our stages. Pit window 100 to 110 laps, Vince, and that is crucial in that final stage. When do you come and get that last precious set of Goodyear tires?
And that's likely going to determine who's really got the best chance of winning this race. Do you guess right or wrong on that last set of tires? Our lineup brought to you by Toyota. You see it there in the grid to the left-hand side of the screen, led by Ben Rhodes and Austin Hill on the front row. Downstairs for one more check on pit road, we'll begin with Regan.
Well, Vince, last time we raced at Bristol, Matt Crafton had a bit of a dust-up with John Hunter Nemechek. I spoke to Matt this morning to find out where that stood. He said as far as he is concerned, it's water under the bridge. They have exchanged text messages. Unless John Hunter brings it up, he said he's good to go. He did assure me, though, he will not get in the middle of a car war situation where they're wrecking race trucks week in and week out over something that happened a couple weeks ago. So keep an eye on that today. Jamie Little?
Well, the man starting last in the back of the field is young phenom Sam Mayer. He's making his debut with Brett Holmes Racing. This is a new team in the truck series. They have no notes together. They didn't have a practice session, so it's all about verbal communication today. Keep your eye on that 32 truck, Vince.
And remember, Mayer won a year ago at Bristol. Took it to victory lane last fall, just 17 years old.
Going to be fun to watch him race from the back, too, isn't it, Vince?
Fun for us. He might not enjoy it too much. Look at a couple of unique perspectives with our onboard cameras.
Yeah, John Hunter Nemechek. We're going to be up on his roof, looking around, seeing how things look. That's a great view. Just ahead of him, you see the Marquis Spas truck of Ryan Truex. And look on his helmet. We got us a visor cam. That camera is going to catch a lot of action. Watch him swat them bees trying to get his truck around this tight little 3/4 mile short track. I like it.
13th time we've raced here at Richmond. Began with the charter season 1995. And after a break, came back last year where Grant Enfinger won. And we're doing it again in 2021 with Ben Rhodes leading us to green.
Didn't take as long to get 3 wide, did it, Vince?
Wow, look at that.
Oh, sideways is Crafton, and that's crucial, trying to keep your truck pointed in the right direction. You don't want to burn the good off those new tires. Really want to try to take care of them the best you can.
He and Zane Smith going to squeeze Todd Gilliland in there in that 38. Rhodes leads the first lap, and they're already down in 1 and 2.
They're going to click off in a hurry. About a 22, 23-second lap around this short track, and speeds upwards of 150, 60 miles an hour.
Austin Wayne Self, top 10 in points. And there's the 51 of Kyle Busch starting to make his way forward from that 12th starting position. There's Grant Enfinger, the 98, taking the lead from his teammate. Enfinger, last year's winner. Didn't take him long to get to the point.
Drives around roads. Like I said, right now is a good time to be taking care of those tires. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody is just squeezing out of the gas a little bit, making sure they don't put themselves in jeopardy of burning up their rears.
Rafael Lessard in that white number 24, and there's Austin Hill in the 16. Last year's regular season champ.
Austin Hill needs to make a statement on the short tracks, Vince. He just hasn't been that great when we come to the tight little ovals. He's got a good starting position, running up in the top 5. We'll see how he can maintain.
There's Crafton starting to work his way through. Crafton in that 88, Stuart Friesen in the 52, Zane Smith right behind him in the 21. 5th, 6th, and 7th.
John Hunter looking down on that yellow line. I think that's going to be the key to success. A truck that can really, as the drivers call it, wrap that line. They want to keep that left front right down on the bottom. That takes care of the tires, and it also gives you a better run up off the exit.
Crafton and Friesen got a nice little battle going for 5th.
There you see, oh, Crafton slides up, opens the door for Friesen, and Zane Smith looking in there as well. Crafton's been loose from the start.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've seen him. He's got a little bit of a handful, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And when you're down on the bottom, like you see Friesen in the 52, your truck is going to be looser. I talked about the speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour. Aerodynamics play a part in getting around this track, and when a truck's on your outside, it makes you a little bit freer.
Second season for Friesen with that Toyota connection after making the switch last year. As you see Crafton get up out of the groove, and for Friesen, that's been an advantage. 31 more points, stage points this year than he had at this stage a year ago, as you see a little contact between Sauter and the 23 of Chase Purdy.
Bama Buggies got the door fender knocked on. You can see they're 3 wide off turn 2, sorting it out. Kyle Busch moving forward.
Self taking a look inside, and Sheldon Creed stuck on the outside there momentarily. I mean, you got to kind of pick and choose at this point, don't you, Mike? I mean, as to how aggressive or how giving or taking you want to be.
Yeah, it'll definitely, the intensity will definitely ramp up as we go, Vince. And like I said earlier, you're going to try to take care of your truck a little bit in these early laps. You can see a lot of movers, though. John Hunter going forward. He's up to the 11th spot, trying to get 10th away. Listen to him work that throttle up off the corner. They'll milk that throttle all day long. They can't just mat it wide open. They got to squeeze it down. Listen.
There's a look at Sam Mayer. Remember, we told you he started last, trying to make his way forward. He's up to that 31st spot. That's Dawson Cram in the 41, Danny Bone in the 30. Mayer with such a bright future, mentioned a moment ago, just 17 years old, already has a Camping World Truck Series win to his credit last year at Bristol.
At Bristol. Yeah. Can you imagine that? That's amazing that that young man was able to accomplish that. He's got his work cut out for him today, though, coming from the back.
Zane Smith, who you said you thought might be one capable of beating Kyle Busch today, and right there they are running together in that 7th and 8th positions.
Yeah, Kyle hasn't moved forward as quickly as we might have expected. I don't know if his truck is not handling properly or if he's just doing what I talked about earlier and making sure he takes care of that thing.
Well, in 70 laps in this first stage, and you're on a green track, it's challenging to tires to begin with, much less to have it on a green track. You're the first vehicle on it. It's going to be even more challenging in this first stage for sure.
You know what I love about our schedule with no practice? We have no idea who to make the favorite. You know, we don't look at lap times and understand that. And the teams, not only these truckers, but the Cup guys, they're watching this intently, seeing where the groove is, how the lap times fall off. There's so much information, Regan, that these guys can learn from. And I know everybody's got their eyes peeled here at Richmond.
Well, Michael, you're right. There is a ton of information. And as you guys mentioned, the drivers have to save their tires. Grant Emfringer out front leading this race. Take a listen to what he just said.
Turning the left front off for a little bit. Hold tight in the center. Starting to slide a little bit on exit. Driving 70%.
There you go. That's a big key, Michael. You know as well as I do, 70% right now. He's going to have to do that early on if we get a long run here, so he has anything left at the end of this run, especially with guys like Kyle Busch coming through the field.
Yeah, that's Kyle challenging Matt Crafton for 6th. Zane Smith coming right along with him. If I'm Zane Smith, I'm saying, hey, that's Kyle Busch in front of me. I think I might just follow him to the front.
And, you know, and Vince, that's a great point. And it doesn't matter if it's Kyle Busch or who it is you're racing around. If you can pick up any tips from them, their line, how they're squeezing down the throttle just to not spin those tires on exit, that's all information these drivers need and will use.
Series points leader, John Hunter Nemechek, moved inside the top 10. The look from turn 2 down the backstretch here at Richmond with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Gives us a chance to remind you that you can enter Clint Boyer's Fox Bet Super 6 Stage 2 contest for your chance to win $10,000 of Clint's money. Just download the app and pick 6 outcomes related to Stage 2 for your shot to win. Free to play, so don't miss out. Play now while there is still time left. The 99 of Ben Rhodes, currently running second. Jamie?
Well, Ben Rhodes started on the pole for the 3rd time this year, but that went away quickly. He told me before he got in the truck, he said, hey, we have 2 wins. We're solidly in the playoffs. I am aware there are a lot of drivers around here that are in a hole, and they're going to be desperate today. If it comes down to that, I'm willing to give up a position to keep our truck straight. That's what they had to do early. He's in second now, Vince.
Well, he's getting pressured by Rafael Lassard in that 24, who is running some good strong laps here in the early going. 26 laps now into the first stage, as you see John Hunter Nemechek behind Matt Crafton. And if you think back to Bristol, this might be an interesting dynamic, seeing these two running so close to one another.
Yeah, and if you like Fox Sports Radioactive, we could be seeing that heat up here. Crafton probably will leave this door open for John Hunter. He does that. The groove is just
Clear.
the groove right now is just dead on the bottom, Vince. That's where you're making all your ground. These drivers, maybe as their tires wear, could start to search around a little bit on the high groove, but for now, it looks like the bottom is the place to be.
Here it was a couple of weeks ago in our most recent race at Bristol. And there you see Crafton into the back end of the 4 of Nemechek and spinning him around and wrecking John Hunter, and Nemechek none too pleased about it. In fact, a couple of members of the 4 team voiced their displeasure to members of the 88 team that didn't particularly appreciate it.
And did you just see Matt Crafton leave the door open? Well, that was why. He didn't want John Hunter knocking the door down.
How do you feel about that, Mike? I mean, in that situation, are you more likely to give the guy a little more room when you had an incident with him last time out?
Yeah, I think, you know, Matt was just retaliating from getting hit, but it turned out a lot worse for John Hunter. So you've got to weigh all that out and understand that the guy's going to be a little bit upset. You don't want to pick fights. You want to make sure you're trying to remember the goal. That's to win a championship. But Regan, you've been on the receiving end of a few of those over your career. You know how it feels.
I do, Michael, and they're very frustrating. And that's what John Hunter Nemechek told me this morning. He said, I was frustrated, but I wasn't only frustrated with Matt Crafton. I was also frustrated with Derek Kraus, who came into that accident significantly after it happened, over 10 seconds after the wreck happened, and actually cleaned him out. And that was what ultimately ended his day. To make it even more awkward, he works out every day with Derek Kraus at Toyota's research and development facility. So interesting Monday morning workout there, I'd have to say.
Well, and speaking of Derek Kraus in the 19, it's been a frustrating season for that group as well. In fact, they've made a crew chief change for this race. Matt Noyce is out, and Mark Hillman, who was Timmy Hill's crew chief on the Xfinity side, has come over to work for the 19 of Kraus as crew chief.
Yeah, I talked to Bill McAnally, the owner of this team, and just a racer's racer. I mean, he goes all out to make sure he puts the best product on the track he can, and he said it was just time to make a change. They got off to a slow start. They had to do something right away.
Side by side for Kyle Busch and Austin Hill, 4th and 5th.
And right behind them, you see the Ford truck. We watched him move around Crafton. John Hunter, he's probably the fastest truck I've seen on the track so far. He's caught Kyle Busch. They're dealing with Austin Hill off turn 2, but watch this 4. I think he's got 51's number in this first stage.
Let's listen to John Hunter work the throttle.
Vince, I got to tell you, that right there makes you want to be a racer.
Good leave again.
You're hearing good leave, and that throttle wasn't just matted. He was working it. Listen again. Hear that? Nice job. That's why he's making good time. Good grip up off, but he's not abusing his truck.
Almost halfway through stage 1.
No way. This thing just flies by. I love short track racing.
John Hunter Nemechek into some lap traffic, but feeling pretty good about his position, and why not? He's leading the way at Richmond. Martin Truex Jr. won our most recent race at Bristol, and there's his younger brother Ryan in the 40. Got a little smoke coming out the back end.
Yeah, I didn't see any damage, so it could be a rear end gear or something that's leaking a little bit of fluid. NASCAR keeps an eye on that and could possibly receive the old black flag, which means you got to come to pit.
There's our leader, the 98 of Grant Enfinger, coming into, well, he's been in lap traffic and certainly heavy traffic at this point. That's Dawson Cram ahead of him in the 41.
He's done a nice job of navigating this lap traffic and keeping his lead. There's Ben Rhodes. He's held down that second spot, but he's got company. Kyle Busch is knocking on his tailgate.
Corey Roper in the 04 in the middle of it.
Roper's been on pit road. He's had some issues, a few laps down. He'll slide up to the top.
How about some radio from the 51 camp, Kyle Busch?
It's just a little bit tight turning, especially in traffic. I just don't feel enough front push into the tire. The off is a little snappy with the back because of my center, but taking care of it, the off is okay. Center is better than most here, actually, but in clean air, seems to struggle a little bit more in traffic.
But overall, it's a pretty happy Kyle Busch on the radio, who started 12th. I talked to his crew chief, Marty Lindley. He is new to KBM this year. His background is short track racing, and he's done a lot of winning on short tracks as Kyle Busch drops to the inside of Rhodes. He said today was either going to be really good or really bad, but anytime Kyle Busch is behind the wheel, you know you're going to have a shot at winning.
It's a pretty potent combination with Marty Lindley back-to-back ARCA championships and as a crew chief, and Kyle Busch as the driver. And there's that 40 truck you talked about, Mike, with some issues. Regan, what's the details?
Well, Ryan just came on the radio. He said it's the rear gear. We are done. The team was up on the wall ready for him to pit to try and figure out what the problem was. Super disappointing for this team. This is actually one of Ryan's best racetracks. He was really looking forward to today. This is going to be a tough one for him.
Yeah, the 40 is going to take that hard left turn behind the pit wall, and there's another truck that's having a nice run. Rebounding is Austin Hill, picking up a spot off Rafael Lessard. And if Kyle Busch is the fastest truck on the track as he tries to race down our leader, Grant Enfinger, this is the second fastest. John Hunter has been able to keep pace, has a really solid run going in that 4 truck.
And just ahead, you saw the 16 of Austin Hill, and as you said, Mike, rebound, and that's a good word. He's rebounded after a couple of bad races to start this season. He was 22nd at Daytona and then 33rd on the road course at Daytona, but since then 3rd, 2nd, and 9th, and that's a little bit more like what we've come to expect from Austin Hill.
He's a consistent driver. I mean, he just gets it done week in, week out. Doesn't matter the tracks. Like I said earlier, though, short tracks have been his Achilles heel, and he's having a nice run here. That means a lot to a team when you're searching for a championship. You got to be good everywhere, and having a performance like they're having in that 16 truck. There you see the TRD Mobil 1 number 16. That's a good sign for the rest of this season for that team.
Well, and you said you got to be good everywhere, and especially in a season like this when the schedule is so diverse.
Yeah, you're going to go to so many different tracks. We're going to go to multiple dirt tracks, go road course racing. We're going to Dakota, and we're going to wrap up our regular season on the road course at Watkins Glen. What a great series we've got, and what a great schedule. I love what NASCAR's done.
Yeah, I mean, you look at most recently we were on the dirt at Bristol. Of course, we're on the short track here at Richmond. Then we go to a 1.5 miles at Kansas. Then we've got the unique Darlington, and then Coda. It's all the challenge you could want, that's for sure.
And I just love how competitive this series is. You can't really pick a favorite this time of the year for our championship. You got to put John Hunter on the short list for sure. There you see Ben Rhodes. He started off season with 2 wins. He's up in the top 5. He's on that list too. But so many potential competitors could step up and be a part of the equation at the end of the year.
Less than 20 to go in stage 1. Grant Enfinger continues to lead, but it is tight racing everywhere and some frustration if you're Ryan Truex. Camping World Truck Series back at Richmond for the ToyotaCare 250. John Hunter Nemechek just drove around the boss, Kyle Busch, for second place, and Nemechek among those that are the biggest movers so far today, including Sam Mayer, who started all the way at the very back in 40th.
And this guy, I love what Derek Kraus is doing, just drove around Matt Crafton, got himself inside the top 10. What a great decision it looks like for Bill McAnally, team owner, to shake this organization up, and look at Kraus respond.
And there's a look at the 32 of Mayer, mentioned started at the tail of the field and currently runs 22nd, up 18 spots. Last year's winner at Bristol.
Got about 4 seconds up on the leader, does Mayer right now, Vince. So he's probably going to make it pretty comfortably to the end of the stage. Stay on the lead lap. You start last, run the first stage, diagnose your truck, let your team know what you're dealing with, and stay on the lead lap. I would call it a success so far.
How about the two truck, our defending series champion, Sheldon Creed? What's happening there, Jamie?
Yeah, not a success so far for this team either. I talked to Sheldon earlier, and he said, short tracks are not my thing. I just don't have much experience on them. And this was the one track they struggled at the most last year. They thought they would be a little bit better, but so far, not the case. The left front shock keeps bumping around like crazy, so they've got an issue. Regan.
Well, Vince noted that the forward truck of John Hunter Nemechek just passed his boss Kyle Busch for second place. Listen to what Eric Phillips, his crew chief, told him about 5 laps ago.
15 to go here. You got a thing left. You can go. It's all about the patience and bend. When you bend and leave low, it's like a tenth of better lap time just about every time. So stay focused on that.
Evidently, John Hunter did have a little bit left in the tank and saved some of those tires that we keep talking so much about, because he instantly picked the pace up and started catching the leader, Grant Enfinger.
Really like that combination of driver John Hunter Nemechek, crew chief Eric Phillips, the winningest crew chief in series history, and then you've got a championship spotter in Tony Hirschman, who normally spots for Kyle Busch on Sundays, and then he spots for John Hunter.
Championship owner. Well, let's just celebrate everything.
A lot of championships.
That's why they're so fast too.
Is John Hunter the favorite to win the championship now, Mike?
I put him on the short list, but man, in the way he's performing today, I talked about versatility, having to be able to run well on every track. He's doing it. That was a hairy pass he made there. He got around that 56 truck.
That hairy pass with the hair clip. Yeah,
pretty awesome truck, if you ask me.
Yeah, well done, Mike.
Nemechek about a second and a half, second and a quarter now off of our leader, Grant Enfinger. He can begin to see him up there out of the windshield. Only 7 to go. Would love to get this stage win. Kyle Busch Motorsports has won 6 out of the 8 stages this year.
Yeah, that's 8 out of the 10. That's right. Yeah, and Enfinger, let's remind you that Grant is running a partial schedule this year, not a full-time schedule. He did not run the road course at Daytona, so not playoff eligible, but certainly capable of winning every race that he's in, and that's his goal, is to go out and win trophies, collect trophies. He only led 18 laps when he won here last year. He's already led more than 60 today.
Yeah, if you're Grant Enfinger, you have to make the best of your situation. He didn't have the funding to run all the races, so he's going to run as many of them as he can. And doing so means taking advantage when you get that opportunity. And you can see, here comes John Hunter. He's got 4 more laps to hold off a determined number 4 truck. As you can see, he now has him right in his sights. John Hunter with a lot more speed right now. He wants to win this stage. Can he go out and get it done?
Grant Enfinger, crew chief on that 98, J-Rod, Jared Prince, the new crew chief for the 98 this year, and J-Rod's dad, Randy, also a employee at Thor Sport, recovering from a recent hospital visit, and certainly wish Randy the best, as he, I'm sure, is watching this one and keeping an eye on his boy and the 98 team. Sam Mayer has now cracked the top 20. Well, currently sitting 21st, but about to take 20th away from Sheldon Creed. Just a couple of laps left here in stage 1 for Grant Enfinger.
This is a big battle, Vince. John Hunter is running for a championship, and he wants this stage win and this playoff point.
He is right there. John Hunter Nemechek pushing Grant Enfinger. First and second.
Nice exit for Enfinger. You could see there, just really with the pressure coming from behind, he was able just to squeeze the gas down and get off that turn. Looks like he's in pretty good shape right here.
Final lap in stage 1 as they come off turn 2, head down that backstretch. That's Cody Robaugh just ahead of Infinger. Riding from the bumper of John Hunter Nemechek, and it is Grant Infinger going to hold on and win stage 1. His first stage win of the 2021 season. Last year's race winner, picking up right where he left off. Infinger, stage 1 at Richmond. Tonight on Fox, former super welterweight world champion Tony Superbad Harrison faces off against the hard-hitting Bryant Goodfella Perella. Don't miss it tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Perella,
would you rather be super bad or hard-hitting?
I want to have a great pit stop, Vince. I can't decide. Regan, what would you rather be?
I'm with you, Michael. I want a great pit stop, much like John Hunter Nemechek, who hits his stall right now, does our second place truck. He is too tight in the center. Because of that, he can't get the truck to drive off of the corner. And then upper right of your screen, Grant Infinger, who is the leader right now, that race truck, he feels like started too high on air pressure. That means it wouldn't stay with him as long because of that air pressure. Started to lack just a little bit of grip all the way around because of it. Jamie?
A lot of the same complaints from these drivers up and down pit road. The 51 of Kyle Busch, his Cup crew going over the wall for him. Just sliding through the corner, no front grip. The 99 of Ben Rhodes, exact same thing, just no drive off. They want to help that a little bit. Feels like the front of the truck is a little bit too high, Vince.
Track position so important, and the work on pit road critical today, as you see Kyle Busch picking up a couple of spots, Todd Gilliland a couple of spots as well. We were green the entire first stage. In fact, that's the longest green flag stretch to start a race since 2014. Wow. John Hunter Nemechek getting it done on pit road. This season starting in Darlington on May 7th, Camping World Truck Series drivers have a chance to win $500,000 in prize money with the Triple Truck Challenge presented by Wampley. Be sure to tune in each week on FS1 to see which driver takes home the big cash prizes. You win at Darlington, you get a $50,000 bonus. You win 2 of those 3 races, it's $150,000, and if you win all 3, it's a $500,000 bonus. Thank you.
Wow.
Very much.
That makes it a lot of fun to see these truckers line up. And no, these cats aren't rich, Vince. They're trying to pay their tire bill and put new engines in their trucks, and that money goes a long way to help them do that.
You see the pit road penalty for Stuart Friesen. The 26 of Ankrum and the 20 of Boyd, both penalized for uncontrolled tires. And this restart to begin stage 2 has Kyle Busch out front.
4 wide, nearly. Wow. Nice move there by Zane Smith. Talked about him in the opening being a contender. Well, hopefully the adjustments they made to that Good Sam's truck helps him to move forward, because he was struggling in that first stage.
And these restarts are fierce. Everybody jockeying and trying to squeeze in for position.
And just remember, every time you cut someone off, that's just giving them a chance to spin you out. You know, you got to get caught a break if you're going to cut somebody off, and that's a real delicate balance these guys are dealing with.
And everybody wants the bottom, right?
Yes, that's what we expected would be the case, and it's certainly come to be true.
Great.
Also, I think it's important, Vince, right now to keep track on who's really hauling right now. You see Kyle drive out to that big lead. Well, is that a short run truck or a long run truck, like we saw John Hunter just get better and better? We're also going to keep our eye on Zane Smith in the 21. Really strong moves early in the stage. Does he burn his stuff up?
Watching from the bumper cam there of John Hunter Nemechek, had a good shot of Grant Enfinger out in front of him. Those two had a good 2 or 3 lap battle for second after that restart to begin stage 2, and Enfinger wrestled at array. Early laps of stage 2. Why don't you crank it up for us, producer Mark Smith?
Yellow. And when I say wall, mid 3-4.
Tate Fogelman.
Number 12 around. Some damage to the right front. Look at that. Trying to fire the engine. Some backfire there. He might decide that was all the fun he needed.
That'd be a clue, wouldn't it? See Fogelman starting to undo the belts now, and the window net down, always a good sign, signaling that he's okay. Haley Deegan got some damage to that. I mean, normally on the short track, when you see one in the wall, you got a feeling that he wasn't doing it by himself.
Yeah, but usually the one with the right rear damage would be the one into the wall, and that wasn't the case here.
Yep.
Does the 12 dive in and run into the one? You see the one on the right side of the screen. Oh, she rolled up the hill, and Tate went higher into the hill. Knocked his steering out when he got into the back of her.
So Tate Fogelman's day is done, and Haley Deegan's got some damage on the right rear of her one machine. First caution at Richmond. Tonight on Fox, the MLS is back. You can catch Austin FC as they make their league debut against Carlos Vela and LAFC. Action kicking off at 5:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You can't use your hands in soccer, but you can use your hands to generate hand signals here in racing, and you can use your head in soccer, and I think that's what Tate Fogelman we'll see here was trying to tell Haley Deegan, but I don't know. It's hard from that replay. We couldn't really tell what happened. But
that happened way back on the back straightaway somewhere. They just couldn't get separated. There you see Haley. Let's see what she had to say.
Here, the 12 was on the outside here with that 9 top. Yeah, I'm fine. I was on inside, right? Take a deep breath. We'll get you fixed up here. We'll work on it.
Sounds like the spotter said that she crowded up on the 12 truck, but she was racing another truck, and you can see there's damage, and that put Tate Fogelman into that wall, and that's the result to his 12 truck.
You can understand Fogelman's frustration. It's hard enough. Then when you get put out on someone else's doing, not intentional obviously, but that's just part of short track racing. He's not the first, he won't be the last.
We've seen a lot of interesting short track racing here at Richmond over the years, dating back to about '86 when Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip got in a tussle, and they just have followed year after year, seemingly people getting mad at each other. Rusty and Jeff, Ricky Rudd, Kevin Harvick. Who will be the people that get the maddest today?
Hey, we talked a little bit earlier about the diversity in the schedule coming off that dirt race at Bristol, of course, here today at Richmond, and then next we'll be at Kansas on May 1st, and then to Darlington less than a week later.
Throwback weekend in Darlington. Then look, Vince, we're going to Texas, and we're going to race at COTA in Austin. That's going to be incredible. Charlotte Motor Speedway, then back to Texas for the 1.5 miles.
Looking forward to going to Nashville and keeping our fingers crossed for a beautiful June day in Pocono, and then on the dirt at Knoxville. And
how about wrapping up the regular season on the road course? We see how much action gets generated there from guys running into each other.
Love that the trucks are going back to Watkins Glen for the regular season finale. Nice race to set the playoff stage. Under caution here at Richmond. It's the first caution other than, of course, the end of stage 1. We went green from the drop of the green until the end of stage 1. Grant Enfinger dominated that first stage, but in stage 2 it's been all Kyle Busch. How about the 88, Regan?
Well, Vince, you mentioned Grant Enfinger dominating that first stage. It's been the opposite for that of the 88, Matt Crafton, his teammate. A lot of trouble with this truck being down on the front splitter. He's hitting the splitter in the center of the corners. As you see them check that right there, they want to see how hard he's hitting it. They're trying to get the truck off of that splitter because he gets tight in the middle when it gets onto there. Significant changes, shocks, rear springs, everything. They've been cranking rounds in this truck and doing everything they can. Jamie?
Well, Haley Deegan, just a little bit of damage on that right rear. That's the only tire they're going to change. You see the bare bond going on there. She's had a good, quiet run so far, really focused on wrapping that bottom line and staying on the lead lap. She has one of the best spotters in the business, and TJ Majors kind of talking her through this race for the first time, and the team coordinating right now, trying to stay on the lead lap here with this little fix after that contact there.
Ryan Truex climbing from his machine. They had a mechanical issue earlier. He's done for the day as well at Richmond. Camping World Truck Series at Richmond Raceway. Good short track on a Saturday afternoon, and it has been good close quarter racing. Grant Enfinger won stage 1. He's led 71 laps. Kyle Busch currently out front as we're 95 laps through 250 today. Under caution for an incident involving Tate Fogelman and Haley Deegan involved in that as well. You know, the impact of the pandemic on youth sports has been significant, and while recovery has started in some communities, kids most in need are still on the sidelines. So you can visit goodsports.org to learn how you can help. Fox Sports and Good Sports restore play for at-risk youth and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Encourage you to do that if you would. Goodsports.org.
Sure is cool to see the kids here enjoying the races, isn't it? Fans in the grandstands. Yep. Richmond Raceway, a great venue for these trucks. Looking forward to watching the Cup guys tomorrow, too.
And we mentioned earlier, this is the 75th anniversary season for Richmond Raceway. A lot of great races here through the years.
Raced here for the first time in 1986. I've always loved coming up here, being a part of this event, you know. The whole town sort of wants to see what's happening with NASCAR, and we come check in Richmond.
Recently completed, I guess it's been a couple of years ago, right? Completed a big renovation here at Richmond Raceway and redid the entire infield and the garage areas. 900-acre complex here, a 60,000 square foot exhibition hall and an 8,000 seat amphitheater. It is a beautiful facility. If you've never been here before, I encourage you to make this one of your stops on your NASCAR tour if you're a fan.
No doubt. Did you ever come when it was the Fairgrounds Raceway, Vince?
I did not.
That's 1986, 7, 8. I think about 90 they changed it.
Bottom, 2 bottom.
But wow, what a spectacle that was, running around basically a football field, flat racetrack. There's a choose rule. People are deciding whether they want to be high or low. Predominantly low is the play here. We've seen trucks just digging around the bottom of the racetrack, but heck, at some point you got to go high, right, Vince?
Well, you can pick up some more spots, or at least start in a better position. Whether or not you can retain that position once the green flag drops or not's the big question.
There's Todd Gilliland. Solid run for the Sherrills Ford, North Carolina driver.
Up inside the top 10, running 7th.
Incredible bank truck for Derek Kraus inside the top 10. What a good move he's made through the field. Also Hocevar, nice run for Carson. He's good everywhere he goes, Vince.
Yeah. Let's listen to the camp from the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek on this restart.
He's going to play defense. Bottom's covered right now. You're shooting a 51 and 2 back Dyson. Be clear, G. Clear in. Clear in. Clear low. Clear low. 22, 99 and 98.
I think that's one of those cases, Vince, where you just fall in line, don't run around the outside as long as you need to, and then try to see if there's an opening on the bottom, and there it is. John Hunter moves to the bottom of the racetrack and takes the lead away from his boss, Kyle Busch.
John Hunter Nemechek already with a win this season, as you see Jinjo Cobb has brought out the caution. We were just talking about Jinjo during the break, announcing that she's going to make her Cup debut at Talladega. And she's gone around, doesn't look to be any significant damage on that truck.
She joins Shauna Robinson, I think, as the only female drivers to run in all top 3 of the NASCAR series. So chatted with Jen about that. She's really ready and looking forward to the opportunity in Talladega.
Understandably so.
Harrison Burton, former trucker, he announced also he's going racing at Talladega in the Cup Series.
So our second caution for incident today. And let's see if we can identify what happened. A little bit of contact there between Jinjo and that 3 of Howie DiSavino, the 3rd, who's making his Camping World Truck Series debut.
You know, when you're running near the back, Vince, the last thing you want to do is have an issue. Those two couldn't quite sort it out. But look at this action up front. How do they not crash? There's not room for 3 trucks there, is there?
Sheldon Creed squeezed there between the 45 of Moffitt and the 52 of Friesen.
Moffitt, Friesen, Creed, they're all running just outside the top 15. I talked at the opening of the show about, needing to cheer Brett on.
How about those two? Let's address that while you're here. Brett Moffitt and Sheldon Creed. Creed last year's champion, Moffitt a 2018 champion, and neither one of those guys have been able to find the sweet spot this year.
No, it's really frustrating and concerning. And why? GMS was the deal last year. Certainly been off the pace this year, Vince.
John Hunter Nemechek gets around the boss, Kyle Busch, and he will lead when we return. Kyle Busch Motorsports, Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek on the front row. Back under green at Richmond.
Well, that's choreographing a restart that did not go well for Kyle Busch. He started, I think him and John Hunter tried to play the game there where John Hunter was going to dive down in front of Kyle, but Grant Enfinger and Ben Rhodes were having nothing of that. They jumped around Kyle and grabbed the position.
Yeah, the 2 ThorSport trucks now between the 2 KBM machines of Nemechek and Kyle Busch, and the 21 of Zane Smith trying to work inside of that 51 of Kyle also.
Zane Smith has been impressive. He gets loose there, but man, really good restart for the 21.
Still trying to sort themselves out back in the pack. Johnny Sauter stuck on the outside. That's Sam Mayer in the 32. Sauter in the 13 trying to work his way up and through. Well, it's been a while for Johnny Sauter, more than 40 races since he last went to victory lane. He is way overdue.
Yeah, and the frustration is setting in. Johnny's such a great racer, just hasn't been able to work it out as of late.
Right around that 5th spot, the 38 of Todd Gilliland, the 16 of Austin Hill. 5th and 6th. I mean, there is action all over the track. These restarts generated, but everybody trying to grab a position and sort themselves out.
On the right side of the screen, Stuart Friesen lost the nose of his truck as he headed down into turn 1. Luckily, there was no one up on the outside, and Gilliland and Austin Hill can't work this out. Rafael Lessard in the 24 truck.
Waiting for one of them to make a mistake.
Hoping they sort it out. And just behind them, the guy we've talked about several times, Derek Kraus. He's applying the pressure as well, racing inside the top 10.
Good run for Kraus today, and much needed after they made that crew chief change. Nice little confidence booster for them.
Yeah, when you make a change and you see positive results immediately, it's just a validation that you had an idea of how to improve your team and it worked.
How about Zane Smith running 5th, Jamie?
Well, Vince, he was so excited to come back and race at this place. He felt like they were the best GMS truck here. Last time they raced, he won a stage, but he ended up 11th. So far today in that first stage, he was a little too tight. They put his spring rubber in the left rear and made a track bar adjustment, and he's gained some spots, running top 5 now.
Yeah, it's been a good run indeed for Zane Smith and Bono Mannion. Hey, we talked about Derek Kraus and then making the crew chief change. Mark Hillman going in to become crew chief. Matt Noyce left the 19, and he is now crew chiefing at Nice Motorsports. Noyce at Nice. Say that 3 times real fast. But working on the 44, the youngster Jet Nolan today.
Jet's a lap off the pace, but learning a lot. That's what you need to do when you have a new crew chief. You just got to keep picking up the pace and understanding the changes you make, and he's doing that today. And here's another guy making a bit of a move, the 18 of Chandler Smith. We haven't talked about him today. He's inside of Hocevar. Hocevar's been solid, but it looks like Smith is going to rally and run up in the top 10 here as we race toward the end of the second stage.
Yeah, that is for 10th. And Kyle Busch Motorsports has won 3 in a row with 3 different drivers. No team has ever won 4 straight with 4 different drivers. That puts kind of the onus on Chandler Smith since he's the guy. That would be the 4th.
Chandler's struggled this year with the results. Came on the scene last year and was very impressive in his few starts, and this year it hasn't gone quite as well, but hopefully he can rally. This is a good run for him today.
Yeah, started off with a good top 10 finish at Daytona, but boy, they have not caught many breaks through the beginning of this season, that's for sure. They need a good run today. Danny Stockman Jr., the crew chief on that 18, is certainly a championship caliber and has won championships as crew chief.
We were on
Austin Dillon.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We were on pit road with the 88 truck of Matt Crafton making those changes. He's been able to get around the 30. That's Danny Bone in the red truck. And Bone's now on the inside of Sheldon Creed trying to get that spot. So Crafton looks like he's improved his truck, but man, Vince, after those lengthy changes, he's got a long ways to go.
Well, and Junior Joyner, the crew chief of that 88, told me earlier this week that even though they ran runner-up last season, finished runner-up, they did not feel good about their truck, and they were concerned about how that would roll today. And I think his worst fears came to reality early on, and they made big changes during that most recent pit stop.
So Joyner wasn't paranoid, he was right.
Yes.
Is that correct?
52 radio, Stuart Friesen's team.
Right to your butt bumper on the entry, half back. I can't slow down any faster, I'll spin out. These brakes suck.
Translate that to, he doesn't like his brake.
Yeah, well done, Mike.
Thank you, I'm all over it, Vince.
Can't slip anything past you, can we?
Brakes are important here, too. Regan, what's the problem, you think?
Well, guys, that's been a problem all day for this 52 truck. He started complaining before the last caution of that happening, and now you hear on the radio what he continues to say. Every time he touches the brakes getting into the corner, feels like it's going to spin out. They've tried adjusting the balance bar. That's not really been helping him much. This is a guy that's going to be very busy this weekend, too. Stuart Friesen, he will leave here today, head to Fonda, New York to race a dirt car tonight, and then Albany tomorrow to race again on Sunday.
You're talking about a fun trip. A couple years ago, I got to take that dirt race trip with them, and it is a party. They race hard, and when the race is over, they like to drink a couple beers and celebrate what they've accomplished that night. And Stuart Friesen, his family, they are all in to the dirt racing scene, and it's great fun.
Racers race. John Hunter Nemechek continuing to lead this race. He's out front in stage 2 at Richmond. John Hunter Nemechek is your leader here at Richmond. We're in stage 2 with 15 laps remaining in this stage. Grant Infinger won stage 1, has led the most laps today, 71, and currently Infinger runs second. Now on the most recent restart, we had Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek, and you'd think that they'd had, you know, kind of their choreographed plan to end up 1-2 once the green flag rolled, but it didn't work out that way.
Sometimes your plans don't turn out like you hoped.
He ended up 4th, Kyle did.
Okay, 4 is wanting to know what you would prefer to do here. I'm okay either way. If he wants the bottom, take it, I'll take top. If he wants to take the top, I'll let him down, whichever.
And what happened there, Vince, he had to roll off the throttle a little bit, had a slower start, and the 99 of Ben Rhodes, one of the most aggressive drivers in the truck series, when he saw John Hunter start on the outside, he knew what the plan was. He said, John Hunter is going to, Kyle's going to let him in. Well, certainly wasn't having any of that, and did a great job of grabbing that spot, and Kyle's now falling back to the 4th spot. That's called, Joey Logano coined that the dipsy doodle or something like that, where you switch it up.
Some high-tech name,
yeah,
some very
really,
technical name.
Yeah, something technical, and it didn't work. And more often than not lately it doesn't work because of guys like Ben Rhodes in the 99 truck. He's not going to let them play any games with him.
Rhodes running 3rd, and you see there just a little over 4 seconds behind the leader, John Hunter Nemechek. Rhodes, of course, the season began in grand fashion. He won both the races at Daytona on the oval and then the road course. And there's last year's race winner right here at Richmond, Grant Infinger, who runs 2nd.
He's been able to drive away from Kyle Busch since Kyle had that restart. And there you see 5th place runner Austin Hill. Good solid top 5 here on the short track. Like I said earlier, they have not done well on the shorter ovals. This is a big move for this team. Zane Smith, Rafael Lessard. There's Zane in the 21. He's currently 6th. He's improved his truck since the beginning, Vince.
Good looking truck too. I like those colors and the combination of red and yellow with Good Sam and some assistance from Marcus Lemonis this week. And Rafael Lessard, I've been impressed with what Lessard has done, not just today, but this season.
No doubt. He's really performed well at a variety of different tracks, and a guy that you just kind of look up for and expect to be him to be in the top 10.
He's got a couple of stage wins. Doesn't have the results at the end of the day to show for it, but he has a couple of stage wins. He's had some good runs, just hasn't had the finishes. Todd Gilliland, who's got a couple of top 5s, and he's hanging around that area again today inside the top 10, currently 8th.
The Pete Store, how about that? And there's Derek Kraus. We talked about the switches the team made. Solid top 10 run for him. And behind Derek in the 10th spot, Chandler Smith making a nice move toward the front. There you can see the number 18 JBL Toyota. Look at him work that wheel, just trying to get some grip.
Well, and for guys like Kraus and Smith who haven't had the results this season that they're looking for, just a good solid top 10 is huge for them.
You got to have something to build on. You know, you probably don't think you're going to be able to go out and win the race when you've struggled like you have, but if you can get a top 10 in, you say, all right, that's a building block. We're going to be able to lean on that to move forward, just like Carson Hocevar is doing as well.
Hocevar just 18 years old, and then another teenager, Sam Mayer, right there behind him in 12th. How about the 32 and Mayer? He's come from the very back where he started, Jamie, and he's knocking on the door of the top 10.
That's right. Started 40th, just smooth and consistent laps out here up to the top 12. 17-year-old phenom, and I say that because he has won in everything he's raced, including a truck when he won at Bristol last year. You're looking at Brett Holmes on the left. Tip of the hat to this team. Brett Holmes won the Arkham and Ards Championship with his own team last year. They wanted to expand, and now they're part-time in the trucks. He told me he's more nervous right now watching his truck out there than he's ever been in his life driving himself. Pretty impressive run.
You know, you look at those 2 trucks, Vince. This happened to me late in my career. I was watching a couple of guys running toward the end of the race, and I added their age together, and it was less than mine. And that's what Johnny Sauter is looking out the windshield at right now. A 17 and a 19-year-old. I add those together, I get 36. Johnny's up to 42 now, so that's frustrating.
Maybe a little frustrating for Kyle Busch as well, as Austin Hill goes around him for 4th. Up front, John Hunter Nemechek, you're riding with him. A great view from the bumper cam as he's in some lap traffic. The final laps here of stage 2. He crosses the line, and there are now 2 to go here in stage 2.
Look at this battle. Man, really tight racing there. Zane Smith trying to hold off Rafael Lessard as they race toward the end of the stage. You never know what one stage point can do for you, Vince, and that's what these boys are racing for.
Yeah, these positions are important. 10 stage points awarded at the end of each stage, and as Mike said, it could come down to 1 point making the difference to whether you get in or get out at the end of the regular season.
Timmy Hill in the Hair Club truck trying to hang on to the lead lap.
John Hunter Nemechek on the final lap here in stage 2. Nemechek, the stage 2 winner. John Hunter Nemechek, he's won 6 of the 12 stages this season. He's got a race win to go along with it. Looking to add to that total here today at Richmond. Stage 2 is complete, getting ready for pit stops. Heading to the 3rd and final stage here at Richmond. Grant Enfinger, the stage 1 winner. John Hunter Nemechek winning stage 2. Welcome back to Richmond. Brought to you by Blue Emu, maximum pain relief as you look at our race summary. Enfinger and Nemechek, the stage winners, and now it's just really getting good, right? I mean, they're going to come in, they're going to pit here at the end of stage 2, and then they're all going to have one set of tires remaining And then when do you put that set on in stage 3?
As late as you can, but not too late, Vince. That's the problem these crew chiefs are going to have, trying to figure out when that is. But for now, we need to have a solid pit stop here, hold our track position, and Regan, get out of the pits with some good adjustments.
Well, good adjustments is exactly what they need, unless you're the leader of John Hunter Nemechek, Michael. He is very happy with that truck right now. Maybe just a little too tight across the center. He was told with 5 to go, much like the first stage, go hard, see what you got. Again, the lap times picked up. The 98 Grand M figure, that race truck is too tight if he overdrives it. Only if he overcharges the corners just a little bit too much. Jamie?
Kyle Busch in the 51. He's won 38% of the truck races he's ever been in, but they've got to be a little bit better if they want to do it today. Reg Wench, track bar wrench, they're making adjustments to make this 51 better. Meanwhile, the 99 at Ben Rhodes, they told him, you're the fastest truck out here. Needs a little bit more front grip, but they like where they are as they head down to the final 100 laps of this race.
Looked like a great stop there for Kyle Busch's other truck of Chandler Smith, picking up 3 spots you see there, and Kyle drops 3.
You saw the wrench on both sides of that truck in the back end for Kyle Busch. They made some pretty significant adjustments to that 51. Guys getting it done over the wall. So important.
I pulled into Nazareth, was feeling about half-past dead. I just need some place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? He just grinned and shook my hand, no was all he said.
Sing it, Michael.
Take a load off. Man, that's a good song.
Welcome back to Camping World Truck Series Racing. from Richmond. And it is a beautiful day here. And the sun has kind of played a little hide and seek with us, but all in all, it's very pleasant. Fans in the stands. Everybody enjoying it so far and getting ready for the final stage with John Hunter Nemechek out front with a little company from the 98 of Grant Enfinger, and then Ben Rhodes banging on the bumper.
I tell you, Ben Rhodes is one of the most aggressive truckers out there. You can see he just wanted to get into the tailgate of John Hunter Nemechek. Lost his momentum, though, a little bit. It looks like maybe Grant Enfinger can hop in that hole.
Oh, squeezed now is the 99 of Rhodes. Lassard and Zane Smith on each side.
What a great job of driving by that 24 truck of Rafael Lassard. He had a truck right on him, but he was able to keep the momentum up and keep rolling the top side.
Boy, Enfinger taking a look inside of John Hunter, couldn't make the move, and there's Rafael Lassard, and that 24 is having another solid outing today. We'll see if he can finish it. Hasn't been able to finish the job in previous races this season, but he's having another good showing so far.
Check out Sheldon Creed.
Whoops.
Hello, my friend. I was there. These trucks are struggling a bit.
No surprise to see Nemechek and Enfinger out front, and the 19 of Derek Kraus is around. That's too bad. He's had a solid showing today.
Yeah.
Doesn't look to be significant.
I think it's a left rear tire, Vince. Yeah.
Yep.
He was running inside the top 10. It's been a great day for him. Hopefully they can get to pit road, change that tire without losing a lap. That's restart contact. Generally, you know, it's pushing. We saw it. We saw so much pushing and shoving.
That's the top right corner of the screen. There's the 19 as already.
Yeah, the tire's flat. Lost control eventually.
And able to keep it off the wall.
Or gain control, depending on how you look at things.
You look at the season numbers, and they need some good fortune.
Come on, guys.
Not quite coming in that form, that's for sure. Early laps of the final stage at Richmond. Into the choose zone, and you choose the bottom or the top. That's the decision facing these drivers.
Bottom, please, unless it gets a little crowded down there. And I think we saw Kyle Busch go up to the top.
You want to ultimately get to the bottom, no matter which lane you choose. And they'll want to do that tomorrow, too. The Cup Stars right back here for the best battle of the Toyota Owners 400. Coverage begins with race day 1:30 Eastern on FS1, leading up to the green flag at 2:30 on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Who you got tomorrow, Vince?
I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr.
All right, I'll go with Denny Hamlin then. Both those boys have been really good all year long. Can't wait to watch some NASCAR tomorrow, but we got a lot of unfinished business here today.
Yes, we do. John Hunter Nemechek and Grant Enfinger on the front row as the restart spreads them out. 3 wide. Kyle Busch got squeezed out, lost a couple of positions.
Up into the top 5. Is that Chandler Smith trying to get a spot away?
And how about Rafael Lessard diving inside of the 98 for second, challenging, but Enfinger going to hold off.
And here comes Zane Smith. We've seen that truck have so much speed on these new tires. Keep that in mind. If there's a late caution, Zane Smith could be the guy you got to beat.
Oh, and there is the 23 of Chase Purdy into the wall. And speaking of cautions, Mike, you called for it. Is it too early to come get that final set of tires?
100%. We gotta save something.
So Purdy goes around.
Bent up Bama buggy there. That's a shame.
His crew chief, Jeff Hensley, interesting that the last 2 races here, he has been the crew chief for both winning vehicles. And, of course, last year with Grant Enfinger, and then years ago with Mike Skinner.
They had 4 wide for a second, tried to funnel it down, and unfortunately Chase was the loser in that funnel.
He was the one that got spit out of the funnel.
That's right.
It was running just inside the top 20 at the time.
That was Haley Deegan in the one truck, been in a couple of scrape ups, but she's managed to stay on the lead lap, doing a nice job. 21st position right now. Don't really pin this on her. She had to give a little bit of room at the bottom there for Austin Hill, and they just ran out of room. That's, as they say, Vance, that's one of them racing deals there. Now Chase probably would beg to differ, getting bumped and then into the wall.
But anytime you know, normally I keep my luggage in there, but it didn't look like luggage.
Pretty doggone good advertising there for Bama Buggies, though, right? Not what they're looking for. It looks like they can affect some repairs and keep going, I hope.
So we're going to re-rack them and do it again. Got some radio from Kyle Busch in that 51.
Now it's just loose with the back, tight with the front, a little better front. Front is inexistent, non-existent, extinct.
He doesn't like the front.
That's, you know, any way you describe it.
It doesn't work. It isn't there.
And watch the 99 of Rhodes get into the back of the 51 here on that last restart. You'll see Kyle get shuffled out in the process as they get rolling down into turn 1.
There's been a theme here with Ben Rhodes, hasn't there, Vince? He's going to go when they say go. Not going to care who he insults. Kind of slid up into Kyle a bit there, but Rhodes comes out in the top 5. Kyle all the way back to 7th.
Well, you can't. I mean, at this point, you can't give a break, can you? I mean, it's really tough because you lose a spot or two because you gave up a position, and next thing you know, you're in the mix or the mess.
And you know, Vince, as well as anyone, it's just going to get worse and worse. As the laps wind down, the intensity ramps up, and these guys will start trying to take more and more advantage of each other.
No give and all take. You know, you can give a little bit in these, maybe the first couple of stages, but you get to the last stage and the only thing you're given is a bumper. Well, it's been a fun season so far. Of course, it got off in perfect fashion for Ben Rhodes. The youngster from Kentucky won the first 2 races at Daytona on the oval and then the road course. And then John Hunter Nemechek beat Kyle Busch to win Vegas, and Kyle came right back and dominated at Atlanta before Martin Truex Jr. won on the dirt at Bristol.
You'd have to put that win by Truex as a dominating performance
Yes,
too, wouldn't you? Wow.
indeed.
He was impressive. Told me he wasn't much of a dirt racer.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Lucky or just a liar? What do you think?
I think he was just being coy.
Modest.
Yeah, he was just keeping that to himself. He knew he had something for him there.
Yeah. Of course, John Hunter Nemechek not only has a win to his credit, but the biggest victory of all. He and wife Taylor welcomed their daughter Aspen into the world, and so happy for them. And boy, what a great picture that is.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you know, it's crazy how life is. Last time we saw John Hunter here on FS1, he was mad.
Yes.
Having a tough time at Bristol dealing with what all he was dealt. Since then, he's had a baby. Now he's dominating this race. I've since Vince inside that truck right now, he's pretty happy.
And your buddy Brett Moffitt, I know you were there. He got married after the Bristol race.
Yeah, what a beautiful ceremony. So good to see Brett, Stephanie tie the knot. Says it's been a great week. Was really looking forward to getting to the racetrack, but certainly enjoyed his time off. But man, just another bit of a struggle here today for Brett. Not the speed he was looking for.
Yeah, currently about 15th, and that's kind of where we've seen him throughout much of the day today. So getting ready for this restart. There will be 85 to go when they cross the line. John Hunter Nemechek and Grant Enfinger, fitting that they're on the front row. They've been the two stage winners today.
Just rockets out of that Geico restart zone does Nemechek, grabs the lead, and look at the 21. Fresh tires. We know how strong that truck's been. Can he get up there and hold that spot? If he can hold that spot, run second throughout this stage, Vince, when that caution comes out the next time and they need tires, he's a guy you're gonna have to watch.
Rhodes and Lassard, and we've got another caution as Jinjo Cobb has gone around, and he's a little more contact this time.
Well, shoot, can't get a rhythm here. She's gonna get her fired up there on her way.
We're going to take a break. Come back to Richmond, the final stage for this one, the Camping World Truck Series. Keep it right here on FS1 after the race. Coming up next, Major League Baseball. The White Sox taking on the Red Sox. Boston leading the American League East.
It's the battle of the Sox.
One is white and one is red.
It's going to be a great game to watch following our NASCAR action. A couple trucks on and off pit road. Stuart Friesen with some issues today. What else is happening down there, Regan?
Well, the 88 truck of Matt Crafton, we've documented his issues a little bit earlier on in the race. They have finally got that truck to where they want it now. Need track position. That's the main thing that they're looking for, is just a little bit of track position on that truck. And the 52 of Stuart Friesen, that truck right now, we documented that he had brake issues early on. Not complaining as much about the brakes at this moment, but they did come under or into the pits on this caution right here. You see the left rear damage to that truck. They had to pull the fender. They were worried it was going to rub. No tires yet, but they did pull the fender. Jamie Little.
How about the 24, Rafael Lessard? Tough season to get started. He was 23rd or worse until Bristol went out on dirt, never raced on it before, and brought it home third. But this is in his wheelhouse. Growing up in Canada, he raced super late models on short tracks. He was really looking forward to today's running top 5. And Chandler Smith, as you guys have noted time and time again, this has been a terrible season for this team. We know that Chandler is capable of better. He knows he's capable of better. And today, so far, it's been a good run.
Yeah, Chandler Smith and Rafael Lessard both outside the playoff cut line, but still within striking distance. Lessard 10 points out and Chandler Smith 14 out, so they've still got good opportunity to make the postseason. 80 to go here in the final stage. John Hunter Nemechek leading the way.
Dive straight to the bottom of the racetrack, didn't he?
And that's Enfinger and Zane Smith exchanging paint, trying to go for second. Lessard on the outside of the 98 Enfinger now, and Enfinger's teammate Ben Rhodes in the 99 with some company with Kyle Busch in that 51.
Nice corner by Zane Smith, starting on the outside, and was able to maintain the second position.
You know, we talked about GMS needing to kind of step up and have a good run from a team organization standpoint today. They've certainly done that with Rafael Lessard and Zane Smith both in the top 5. There's Lessard in that 24, as Jamie said, coming off that good run at Bristol, finishing a season best 3rd. And there's Brett Moffitt, unfortunately taking it to the garage.
Struggles continue for that organization. Really tough season so far for Brett. There you see teammate though, the 42 of Carson Hocevar. He's running well for Nice Motorsports, so it's good to see them having some performance.
John Hunter Nemechek leads, Zane Smith 2nd, Grant Enfinger 3rd, and we're going to crank it up as they're coming to 75 to go at Richmond.
Half up, half back, half back. One. Still half back, running your line here. There. Oh, good by 4. Still there, Chopper. Caution on the front stretch, caution on the front stretch.
Caution out again as Jinjo Cobb has gone around.
Those two have something in common.
Yeah,
Did we see them spun around earlier?
Magnets, the 10 and the 6. That's Norm Betting in the 6.
They need to sort this out, and not on the racetrack.
Frustrations even go deep into the field, don't they? And here they are. Maybe a little payback.
NASCAR sometimes frowns upon intentionally spinning someone around. See what maybe led to this. As you can see, I'm up off turn 2 as Jen Joe's on the outside and Norm spins her around there. Might be time to talk to both of them.
Yeah, I can understand that. Philosophy, yes. So Jinjo is taking it to the garage. And Norm Benning may be heading there too.
Well, hopefully you don't park beside each other. We don't need that aggravation.
Not going to be able to finish. Something's broke in the front end. I guess it just let go and the stick got on the outside of me.
Okay.
You buying that?
No.
No. Okay.
But that's all we know.
Officials having maybe a relaying of a message. Working on the right front there for Norm Benning, and the day is done for Jinjo Cobb with just about 70 to go. Hey, how about that 26 of Tyler Ankrum? He's inside the top 10 now. Remember, they had an uncontrolled tire penalty.
And also, Matt Crafton's up to 11th after those adjustments they made. Long pit stop. And look, if we got some takers for tires, this is a gamble. I think we've got about 12 laps is all on this set of tires, Vince, and we know how precious they are. If you get them soon, it could pay off if there's not another caution, Jamie.
Well, there were some teams on the wall. Some decided not to come, but Chandler Smith in the 18, they want to make a wedge adjustment. They already did that in 4 tires here. Johnny Sauter on the right, nothing to lose there. Why not make a wedge and track bar adjustment, try to make that truck a little bit better. We'll see if it pays off. They're in their fuel window now. They can make it to the end.
Well, this is right where 5 of the top 6 pitted last year. And we'll see if history repeats itself by leading to victory.
I don't know, bud. It's a long way to go, and there's not that many laps on the tires right now. Green flag laps. Heck, we got what, 40 laps into this stage, so it's interesting. It's going to make what we expected, right? We said it's going to be interesting when you get that last set of tires.
Well, unless we go green to the end.
What do you think the chances of that happening of what you've seen lately?
I'm just like green for 10 laps or so. I don't want to be greedy.
You're just pointing out what could happen, right, Vince?
Well, that's what happened last year. So, and we saw that long green flag run to start the race. We didn't have a caution until the end of stage 1. But we've been plagued by them of late, and we've got 70 to go with John Hunter Nemechek and Zane Smith lining up on the front row. Of course, the inside line has been the preferred way around, so that leads you to believe that maybe Grant Infinger is going to come out of this restart in second place behind Nemechek. But we'll listen to the 99 of Ben Rhodes on the restart.
Clear by 1 out back.
There he goes.
Outside, bottom of 3, bottom of 3. Still bottom of 3. Bottom of 3. Still bottom of 3. Clear, clear, clear.
Boy, Rhodes really put his teammate Infinger in a tough spot there, and Grant's going to not only lose that spot, but maybe a couple of more. Oh!
Still middle. Still middle. Still middle.
Oh, and there's the 41 of Dawson Cram that has gone around, and the caution is out again. So the chances of staying green, not very good, Mike.
Yeah, now you've got a half a lap on your tires. Does that make a bit of difference? Does that mean you come to pit road now, Vince? I mean, I don't think so, but you never know. These guys could say, well, this is going to be the way the rest of the race is going to go. We can't possibly stay out.
I mean, ideally, what do you come with? Well, I mean, ideally is, 5 laps.
Ideally you run about 30 and you get your tires and then finish the other 30 or so.
We've got 67 to go now, and there have been a few that have come to put on their final set, but most are waiting. And there you see Dawson Cram in the process of trying to gather it up.
Yeah, the 22 of Self was right there.
That's the 02 of Chris Wright as well. Good to see Chris Wright back after missing a couple of races because of COVID protocols.
We were pretty much on a roll, Vince. The first 85 laps, we had 1 caution. The last 100, we've had 8. Stay out, stay out.
Seeing if we've got any takers.
You're going to have some somewhere, but I like the leader staying out.
Here comes Tyler Ankrum, 26. So we talked earlier about Ankrum and what a tough season it has been for him, and he had that uncontrolled tire penalty earlier, but he's pitting from inside the top 10.
And you know, Vince, I like this because this team, like you said, they've struggled this year, but this is a chance to throw a Hail Mary and make something happen.
Will it pay off? Who's going to win today in Richmond? .63 to go. The Camping World Truck Series racing from Richmond with John Hunter Nemechek out front. Ben Rhodes running second.
Oh, Kyle Busch bounces off the outside wall off 2 as he's squeezed a bit there by the 21 of Zane Smith. Zane Smith, the big loser in that restart. He lined up 3rd on the inside and has fallen back. Got hung outside.
Carson Hocevar there in the 42 side by side with Zane. They run 6th and 7th, trying to sort it out. You know, we only had 4 cautions here last year. We've had 9 here today.
We're getting.
And you see there, the first 85 laps, we only had 1, and that was the end of stage 1, right?
We run another lap or 2, Vince. I feel better about not having another quick caution. But man, the way they run side by side and taking them 3 wide, you can tell its laps are winding down. Plus, you've got a couple of guys on new tires now that are going to be rushing through the field.
Yeah, it is go time. There's no doubt about it. Matt Crafton, who's got his truck finally tuned up, is on the move as well. Crafton back inside the top 10. Boy, they took big swings to get that 88 running better, and it is.
You got to give it up for Crew Chief Junior Joyner to be able to tune that truck up. They fell straight back. He went to the back of the field because of those pit stops, but now look at him go. Great job by that team.
Carson Hocevar 7th.
And right behind Hocevar, Crafton, there's Austin Hill making the rebound. Remember, he had that pit road penalty? Now he's racing up toward the front.
And behind him, Sheldon Creed, 10th. Last year's champ, 5-time winner there in that 2 truck with his teammate Rafael Lassard in the 24 behind him. Kyle Busch moving on his former driver, Todd Gilliland, for third.
Poised right there behind those guys is Grant Enfinger, last year's winner. And then Zane Smith has finally fallen in line there in sixth.
I was going to say, they made big changes to that 51 truck at the last pit stop too, with wedge and track bar adjustments, trying to get it to turn better for Kyle. He's just under 2 seconds, or about 2 seconds behind the leader, John Hunter Nemechek. Kyle Busch Motorsports going for 4 wins in a row here today.
Looks like John Hunter's been able to open up a nice lead here. He'll probably go into conservation mode a bit if he's opening up that much, Vince, just in case we don't get another caution.
John Hunter's led better than 90 laps today, and even when he wasn't leading, you could tell he had a good truck.
He was fighting his way through the field.
How about him, Regan?
Well, just to answer Michael's question there about if John Hunter's going to go into conservation mode, I can assure you he's already in conservation mode. I've heard crew chief Eric Phillips tell him no less than 15 times, manage, save your tires, manage every time he goes by as we got a caution on the track.
And that's Cody Robaugh.
Now we got a decision to make, Vince. I know it was only a few laps, but if this is the tone of the race, these front runners are liable to decide this is the time to get that last set of tires.
Yeah, I gotta believe you're coming now. And let's see. Oh, Robaugh definitely got some help. The 22 of Austin Wayne Self assisting.
Bam. Forget how fast you're going here on this short track until you see something hit the wall and how bad it gets wadded up.
Frustration for Robaugh as he prepares to climb from his truck with just outside of 50 to go.
You think?
I mean, if you don't come now, not that we wouldn't have another caution, but you're almost too close to risk it, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think there's some teams, if I were them, I wouldn't come now, and I would just hope I could run 10 laps and not get lapped and have myself an advantage. Now, not the front runners. They've got to come. I think they all have to. But if you're running 10th or 11th and you think you might be able to stay out long enough to save those tires, those things are gold right there. Those fresh Goodyear tires with the stickers on them, they make drivers smile. That's what they want on their truck, and we're going to see some business, I think.
Robaugh limping to the ambulance. He'll make the trip to the care center. And here they come. John Hunter leading them down. We'll begin with Regan.
John Hunter Nemechek, the pit call was to pit. This time, that truck is still good. Very quiet from John Hunter on the radio. No adjustments called for as of right now on the 98 of Grant Enfinger, upper right hand of your screen. He likes this truck better this run. He can turn the steering wheel. The front tires don't chatter when he does. They're still going to free him up just a little bit more. They thought they were better at the beginning of the race. Jamie?
51 of Kyle Busch says, don't hurt my center. It's turning really well. They'll make a slight air pressure adjustment, track bar adjustment, 4 tires. He's a 2 loose on a scale 1 to 5. The 99 of Ben Rhodes said the only way we can get a chance to win this race is to pit right now. A little bit of wedge out and a 4 tire stop for the 99.
You know, Vince, before this sequence started, I said I thought it would be time for somebody to take a chance. See if we can get a word with one of those guys that took a chance. Matt Kraft and Michael Waltrip, and I think they were talking. I got to hold on. Hey, Matt Kraft and Michael Waltrip, the Fox team, you copy?
Yes, sir.
I like it. Junior worked on that truck, tuned it up, and now you're taking a chance for a late race caution. What do you think about your chances?
As many yellows we've been having here throughout this race, I'm sure there's going to be a few more yellows, so let's roll the dice. I mean, we went to Menards and we threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. This Menards Toyota Tundra. Pretty good now, just a little free, and they'll keep working on it again.
I went to Menards the other day, and the only thing I got was a kitchen sink, so that's weird.
I appreciate you shopping.
We appreciate you talking to us. Good job, Junior Joyner, on those adjustments. You got that 88 tuned up, buddy.
Yeah, he finally got his bat out the shoulder.
Well, Junior and Matt Crafton have worked together for a long time, and I love that with Matt. He's still giving it to Junior. Finally got his bat off the shoulder and took a swing at it.
And wow, how many swings did he take? They changed shocks, they did track bar. You heard all the adjustments they made, and the truck is fast. This is what I was hoping for, some mix up in the strategy and see if anybody can make something special happen here at Richmond.
Well, and what Matt Crafton is hoping for, because he's still got one set of tires sitting there, he's hoping that they're going to run a little bit more, and then that caution's going to come out again. He'll come get that fresh set, and he'll have the tires that'll take him through the field.
In a perfect world, if they could run 20 laps and then the caution falls, Matt Crafton comes and gets those new tires, and he could win this race. We've seen strategy by pitting out of sequence under these caution flags win this race before. In fact, Bill Parsons, our Truck Series expert, he texted me just now and he said that's how Grant Enfinger got an advantage last year by changing up the strategy. So I like what they're doing here. And plus, he's got a bit of a buffer behind him. Teammate Johnny Sauter just behind him, Chandler Smith, Danny Bone Ankrum. A lot of those trucks you see in the top 10 all the way back to Nemechek didn't pit. So that'll mean that the 88 can get a clean start, get out in front of them, maybe run some laps in the front.
Update us on the driver who's led the most laps today, John Hunter Nemechek, Regan.
Well, John Hunter Nemechek been so quick all day long. Crew Chief Eric Phelps, you guys have had a really good long run truck. Here lately, though, it seems like you got a good short run truck as well. What's it going to take to make sure you get back to the front here?
I think biggest thing's not get tore up right here. This caution didn't come when we really wanted it. We worked hard on setting our stuff up for a long run, trying to manage tires. It's worked out so far, but we'll see what we got here at the end. Jake's done a good job all day.
All right, good job so far today. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, this is tense. We've seen all these cautions, and when you have difference in tires, that means difference in speed. That means contact.
How's it going to play out? Less than 50 to go on the short track at Richmond. NASCAR Truck Series Racing on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Getting down to the nitty-gritty. Hey, coming up, Michael Waltrip's got a big birthday coming up, and Kansas Speedway has decided to throw a party, and they're going to have a race.
I love it. What a destination this is for a NASCAR fan, too, Vince. The whole area is just built up. There's a Sporting KC soccer team there.
Yep.
so many activities for the fans to enjoy. And then the crown jewel of the weekend is NASCAR on track in Kansas.
And the MLS season starts today.
Yeah.
Later today on Fox.
Maybe we can catch a soccer match. Whoa.
Choose zone.
Oh.
Will be next time around.
I know,
as you see drivers driving right over the middle, that would be a no-no.
That gets you put to the end of the field.
Yep.
So they've talked about it, discussed it, and they have code words with their spotters to try to figure out which way to go.
Speaking of end of the line, the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed will go to the tail end after a safety violation during their pit stop. And there's a look at the 2. Let's go to Jamie. Yep.
And Rich Luchas off the pit box now for Ben Rhodes. Well, you guys decided to pit there. Do you think that was the time to do it? Are you happy with your decision at this point, Rich?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that was the only call right there to come and get tires. Ben's did a great job all day. You know, with the 2 wins at the beginning of the season, we have the shot to take some chances right here, and so we did. We'll be fine here. It'll play out.
Little gamble. They've had a fast truck all day today, though. Keep your eye on that 99, Vince.
Yeah, it's the right decision if we don't have another caution. He'll want that decision back if we have another one coming up.
Like I said, if you're up front, you had to pit. Yeah. That's the only choice you had. I like the fact that Crafton, the first 8 of our drivers all decided they were going to take a chance. And you know what? Columbus took a chance. Look what it got him. Found America.
Yeah. That cleanup a little longer than anticipated as you saw the fluid down on the track, so they're having to get that tidied up before we hit that restart zone. Grant Enfinger won stage 1 today, and he did it in dominating fashion.
And we've had a little bit of action start taking place. You can see frustration, tempers, and a lot of crashes.
And a lot of laps led by John Hunter Nemechek, nearly 100 of them in fact so far. He won stage 2.
Derek Kraus had a left rear tire go flat, lost a lap, has been able to rally, rebound, has Kraus. Around goes the Bama Buggies truck of Chase Purdy into the wall.
Yeah, we had, what, 1 caution in the first 85 laps and then a whole bunch since.
And this was a steering issue for Jennifer Jo Cobb.
It's brought us to this where, well, it's time, right? Choose your lane, top or bottom. Of course, your preferred lane would be the bottom, but how far back do you go before you say, you know what, I'm just going to take what's going to get me closest to the front?
I think about 2 rows is all you're going to give up. You're going to get to that bottom. And how cool is the choose rule that NASCAR has come up with so that these drivers have, you know, you don't see any games played on exiting pit road, and they can put their fate in their own hands, pick a lane, and like you said, pick up a couple of spots or go to the lane that's not so well and hang on.
And one final little cleanup area they had to get taken care of, so they have added a lap and will come green next time around.
And listen, Vince, it's getting ready to be crazy. I mean, the first 8 drivers are on old tires, and they're not going to go anywhere compared to the rest of the field. So just beware. Cautions breed cautions. We know we've said that, but it's getting ready to be even worse with the differing tires that these truckers have.
Yeah, the new tires begin back on row 5 for this restart, and that's where you find Kyle Busch in that 51. John Hunter Nemechek back there as well. Matt Crafton will lead on the restart.
Tell Tab to tell Johnny to quit worrying so damn much. Here for once, he's going to be fine. Yeah, he said do your thing, start at the bottom. He's afraid the 18 will dive bomb both of us, so just do your thing. I mean, at least we're trying to work together, so that's a start, right? On these 2, anyway.
Well, there you have it. No okie dokie today for these 2.
Teammates, Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter. The restart. Chandler Smith dives below the 88, puts Crafton in the middle.
Boy, Crafton fired it down in there, and he's going to run Johnny Sauter up the hill.
Oh, both the 88 and the 13 come out losers on that one, as Tyler Ankrum slips into the 2nd spot.
There's Danny Bone running 5th. He's going to cut down on Austin Wayne Self. They make contact, and that's holding up John Hunter behind him, look at this mess.
Wow. Are they going to sort themselves out or bring out another caution?
B. I don't see how they avoid a caution. Look at this, 3 wide.
Gilliland in the 38. That's the 98 of Infinger and the 30 of Danny Bone. Kyle Busch in the 51. John Hunter Nemechek there in the 4. They're up to 6.
40 to go, still there.
Tyler Ankrum and Johnny Sauter battling for second.
This is all working well so far for those trucks that stayed out. They're going to want to see about another 7-8 laps to give them a big advantage on tires. But you can see how tough it is for John Hunter to cut through traffic. It's still going to be difficult for them to get up to the lead.
John Hunter Nemechek, the bumper cam. It's the 88 right in front of him. Of course, they tangled at Bristol. John Hunter was none too pleased about it as Crafton got into the back end, and John Hunter's day ended up being over, but they've since sorted it out. But still, maybe hold your breath a little bit when they're racing around one another. As you see, the 0-2 has brought out the caution again, and Chris Wright's day is done, and there's damage to the 24, and the 1 looked like got involved in that as well.
Yeah.
First short track for Chris Wright, and
this all happened off turn 4, Vince. You ought to have seen, looked like a lot of smoke. See if we can figure out what happened. Damage to both the 24 and of Rafael Lessard, and also the 1 you see there of Haley Deegan on the right front. Both these racers running about just inside the top 20 at the time of contact. This is Chris Wright's issue off 2. Oh, loose, and makes contact. And that's going to send you straight into the inside wall.
Hard hit.
Man.
Thank goodness that safer barrier was there. So the day comes to an end for Chris Wright. Watch this hit again.
Now this was first, and then watch this mess.
There's the 24 of Lessard. Keep an eye on Lessard. He's involved.
It's
because
like
the 52 of Friesen gets into Tanner Gray, and the 15 who gets into the 24 of Lessard.
Now watch Lessard. He spun out, right? No, not so quick.
And then that's how the 1 of Haley Deegan got her damage.
And Lessard kept it headed in the right direction.
I mean, short track racing, I mean, there's nowhere to go. I mean, when somebody gets sideways, it's going to collect others.
And that's exactly what happened. A lot of action there off turn 4. Those drivers were able to continue, though, Vince. The 0-2.
Only a few laps of green since they put on those tires, but at 35 to go for those that did not come. What do you think? I mean, you see the last time these drivers pitted, beginning with Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, those with the 198. Those were the ones that came most recently, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think we ran enough laps to make a difference to make the strategy work. But also from what I saw there, Vince, on that short run for Matt Crafton, he's not going to have enough time, even when he gets those new tires, to win this race. You can see Tanner Gray there, Lessard, Deegan, they're all going to come to pit road. They had some issues there off turn 4.
Jamie Little.
Rafael Lessard in the 24. You saw that left front damage there. Great run going for this team. In the comfort zone, fast truck, they're going to bring him in, jack him up, and work on that damage to try to get him to the end. Haley Deegan running top 15 for a while there. They're working on the damage on the nose of that truck as well.
Just try to make the best of it at this situation, get it repaired as well as you can. There's Tanner Gray, and you know, while we see Tanner, let us send certainly our thoughts with Taylor Gray, Tanner's younger brother, who was supposed to make his Truck Series debut this weekend here at Richmond, but was involved April 7th in an automobile accident, and certainly wish Taylor the best.
Yeah, I asked
as he
Tanner.
Recovers.
I checked in on Taylor through Tanner, asked him how he was doing. He said it's going to be a bit of a recovery, but he's doing better every day. So that's good news.
Well, we're going to have about 30 to go when we restart, and let's check in again with Jamie.
Well, Chandler Smith is our leader right now. Danny Stockman on the pit box. I know, Danny, it's hard to hear, but is your driver aggressive enough, and is your truck good enough up front to keep it there to the end?
Yeah, I definitely think he's aggressive enough, and clean air is your friend no matter where we're at, whether it's at Richmond or Martinsville or Texas. So we've had a pretty good truck all day. We fought tight, but overall, I knew we had enough speed if we could get some track position. We do have 8 laps on our tires, plus that last little stint, so I feel good about it. If anything, we might bleed a little bit, but we're going to be better than we were, so we should be fine.
To say the season has been rough for them would be an understatement. What it would be to come back and get a victory today, Vince.
Well, and really interesting, too, that it would be the 4th straight win for Kyle Busch Motorsports with the 4th different driver. And we kind of joked about, the onus earlier today. The onus is on Chandler Smith, not expecting really that he would be in this position. But boom, here we are, Mike. He's out front.
Yeah, and he's his protection from the guys that got the latest tires is shrinking. the heat is coming, if you will. The John Hunter Nemechek's up to 4th.
How about some radio from the 51 of Kyle Busch?
This is almost as bad as the Bristol dirt race.
It's not near as dusty, but yeah, you're right, it is.
I think they're wrecking more now than on dirt.
I agree.
I think that's a good observation. And we see that a lot with these truckers. You got to remember, Vince, most of them just came off the short tracks. They're just learning how to race at these speeds. And man, every time you bunch them up, whether we're at a dirt track in Bristol, the 3/4 mile here in Richmond, or the big tracks, they all race like it's the last lap and run into each other a lot.
This is the 11th caution. The record is 12. Let's not set a record today. She's having a good time, though.
I am, too. It's fun to watch. Get them rolling, though, man. Let's go racing.
It's going to be an interesting finish, that's for sure. We have seen the contact and the restarts 3-4 wide. And once they do get sorted out, who's going to be the one that can take it to the finish? Are the tires going to pay off for somebody like John Hunter Nemechek or Kyle Busch, maybe Todd Gilliland, Ben Rhodes? Choose zone.
2 bottom.
Top or bottom?
3 bottom. 4 bottom. 5 bottom. Take the top.
There they go, lining them up. Derek Kraus getting some direction from his crew chief as to which way he might go. Spotter looking down.
Boy, on a short track, less than 30 laps to go. It's just a sprint.
Yeah. Or a marathon if we keep running into each other.
I'm going with sprint. I like that better. Chandler Smith, Johnny Sauter, Tyler Ankrum, 3 drivers that, boy, how sweet a victory would be for one of those guys. It has not been a great season for any of the 3. They need something good to happen. Is it going to happen today at Richmond? John Hunter Nemechek jumping to the outside with those fresh tires.
He better jump because the heat is right on his tailgate. That's Kyle Busch in the other black truck up top.
Last year it was 1, 2, 3 for ThorSport at the finish. Kyle Busch gets past Tyler Ankrum. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 for KBM. And he does. Chandler Smith leads. John Hunter Nemechek second. Kyle Busch third.
Chandler Smith needs to put together 27 perfect laps. His tires have about 8 more, as you heard his crew chief talking about. 8 more laps, and that's definitely enough to make a difference, but he's doing a great job running the bottom of the racetrack and holding those guys off.
Ben Rhodes taking a look on the inside of his teammate there, Johnny Sauter, in the 13 truck. That's Grant Infinger, another ThorSport truck in the 98. Todd Gilliland back there in the 38, all running around 5th, 6th, 7th. Sheldon Creed trying to make his way up, had a penalty earlier.
Look at Matt Crafton on those older tires, dropping significantly toward the back here.
It's all right around the top 10, the 10th position. Austin Hill in the 16 trying to get up in the mix. But back up front, it's Chandler Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, and Kyle Busch.
What about the rebound by Stuart Friesen up to the 12th position? Instead of, oh man, that's close. He dives into the corner. I thought Hill was going to take him out, but they worked it out.
The final laps at Richmond, race number 6 of the season. Kyle Busch Motorsports has won the last three different winners out of that team. Could they make it 4 in a row with 4 different winners? Never been done before here in the Truck Series, and right now that's the position they're in with Chandler Smith leading.
You know, when you run out front as much as John Hunter has, once you get stuck in behind another truck, your truck handles differently. And I think that's what he's experiencing. He can't quite figure out a way around the leader of the race, Chandler Smith. And Chandler is doing an amazing job. Look at him, right on the yellow line, exactly where you want that truck to be.
Chandler Smith tires about 20 laps older than John Hunter Nemechek's, but not all of those have been laps under green.
Yeah, about 8 is all under green, Vince, but that's enough to make a difference, and that's why I'm so impressed with what Smith is doing right here. He's been impressive since he showed up in the Truck Series. I think he was second over at Bristol, and that's a track where you just don't show up and just run that well at unless you've got a lot of talent. Obviously, this kid does.
Well, and it has been a tough season after starting at Daytona 9th and then 12th on the road course. 19th at Vegas, 35th at Atlanta, and 34th at Bristol. Chandler Smith needs something good to happen today, and right now it is as he leads.
Kyle Busch looks like he's been able to gain some ground on Nemechek, running a little bit better lap times behind Nemechek right now.
Our Camping World 20 to go, 20 laps left at Richmond. Chandler Smith trying to score his first career win. It's finally sorted itself out on single file, and you wonder at this point, can Chandler Smith hold off John Hunter Nemechek? Don't open up that bottom lane, right? Stay on that yellow line.
I mean, you would had to have given the, oh, slow truck ahead. This could open a door. You can see Smith swings wide there. Nemechek's able to gain ground. But then right back to the bottom.
Great view from the bumper cam of John Hunter Nemechek. That's the race leader, his teammate Chandler Smith just ahead of him.
A little bit of contact, maybe. It's going to open the door, or is it?
Nemechek passing for the lead. John Hunter Nemechek to the front. And Kyle Busch now looking on the outside of Chandler Smith.
Smith lost his momentum, and that opened up the door for Kyle to pounce as well.
Positions changing as Chandler Smith goes from first to third. John Hunter Nemechek now the leader. Hey, starting now on FS2, it's the White Sox and the Red Sox, and it'll switch over right here to FS1 at the conclusion of our race, the ToyotaCare 250. So if you're looking for the White Sox and the Red Sox, catch it on FS2 for now, and it'll switch back over here to FS1 when our race concludes, and that's 15 laps from now. John Hunter Nemechek hoping that it'll just stay green the rest of the way and he won't have to battle anyone else on a restart here at the finish.
We got us a real heater here with Nemechek taking the lead away, but looks like Kyle's not losing much ground to John Hunter.
Well, and if you think, oh, well, Kyle's the team owner, it'd be better for John Hunter to win, but, you know, maybe he'll not press the issue so much. Remember, this is one of those tracks, in fact, the only active track in the Camping World Truck Series where Kyle Busch has not won. And he wants to check off that box, believe me.
What you said didn't sound anything like Kyle Busch to me. He wants to make all the headlines. Yep. Winning for Beechcraft, Cessna, all his sponsors is something that's very important to Kyle. And beating John Hunter, he probably would think, Vince, will teach John Hunter a lesson, make him better if Kyle's able to get up there and take this win away. He's all about doing just that.
Less than a half a second advantage for John Hunter Nemechek. And the one thing we've noticed from Nemechek, who's led more than 100 laps today, and you made the mention of it earlier, Mike, when Nemechek was behind Chandler Smith, how his truck maybe didn't seem to handle quite as well. But out front in clean air, his truck has been near perfect today.
Yes, it has. And that's why you see him right down on that yellow line. That's where a perfect truck wants to be. He's not shaking Busch, though.
Both Kyle and John Hunter pitted on the same lap to get tires, so no advantage there.
Ankrum.
Smooth and straight. 11 to go.
Riding with John Hunter Nemechek. And you said, Mike, right on that yellow line. You go through the corners, keep it on the yellow line.
Great shot off of our bumper cam to see just that. How important it is to not only get on it, but under it at times. More grip down there the lower you go.
10 laps remaining at Richmond. John Hunter Nemechek trying to win for the second time this season, but getting pressured from the series all-time win leader, Kyle Busch. And for KBM, can they make it 4 in a row? It certainly looks that way with the team running 1, 2, 3 right now. Chandler Smith trying to hold off Tyler Ankrum for that 3rd spot.
Ankrum with just a few laps fresher tires, and what a recovery this team has made, and what a great job Ankrum's doing. He's going to try to swipe that spot away from Smith.
Oh, little contact there to the back bumper, and is that going to be enough to allow Ankrum to get around?
I believe it is. If he doesn't get picked off by a slow truck ahead, that's exactly what Chandler Smith's going to try to do.
And that's the 49 of Ryan Reed, who is making his first start here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. In fact, his first start in the top 3 series since go back to March of 2019.
That battle still continues. Ankrum on the high side. Looks like he's going to do away with Smith and do away with KBM's 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
And here it is. This is how he broke Smith's momentum.
You know, a bumper will do that, Vince.
And it just takes getting out of that gas a little bit, doesn't it?
And then you can see, brings the top, and now Tyler Ankrum runs in the 3rd spot. Another guy on our list of drivers that really needed a good day today. Ankrum's getting it as well. And just behind Smith is Johnny Sauter. Top 5 run for Johnny. We've talked about Johnny's struggles. Nice job by this team as well.
Again, if you're tuning in to see the Red Sox and the White Sox, it has begun over on FS2, and we'll switch back here to FS1 as soon as we're finished. Boy, Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed not pleased with one another as they're exchanging contact as well.
And Sam Mayer just ahead of him said, let me get out of here. There's something a brewing. Wow. You don't run into somebody in the middle of the front straightaway at that type of speed and have that truck keep control, but what a great job. What a great job of hanging on. And now what are we going to do, pay him back?
Messages being sent. Good short track racing. All right. The final laps. Can John Hunter Nemechek hold off Kyle Busch? Nemechek was able to do it at Las Vegas. Can he do it here again today at Richmond? And there's the lap traffic ahead of him.
Man, nothing makes you more nervous on a short track than leading the race with pressure on and catching lap traffic, trying to predict and guess and make sure you understand which way they're going to go when you get there.
That's Dawson Cram ahead of Nemechek. Cram giving plenty of room. Nemechek to the bottom as they come through turn 3 and 4. Head of the line. 2 laps remaining.
That was a good corner by Nemechek, and Cram cost Kyle some momentum leaving turn 4. He had to go under Cram there.
Kyle Busch just waiting to pounce if John Hunter should make a mistake. But John Hunter Nemechek has made very few mistakes today. 1 lap remains. The final lap at Richmond. Kyle taking a little different line and look. But it's not going to pay off.
Your marks this end.
John Hunter Nemechek just has to negotiate 3 and 4. Wow, look at that drive from Kyle to try to get to the bumper in the outside, but it doesn't work.
Use it.
John Hunter Nemechek, the winner at Richmond.
Good job, guys.
Yeah! Thank you, guys! Heck yeah! Awesome truck. Thank you.
John Hunter Nemechek came from the Cup Series to the Truck Series saying, I'm going to win races. And he is winning races. That's win number 2. 2 of 6. It's a little salute from the boss. And KBM wins its 4th in a row.
A new daddy getting to celebrate a win behind the wheel of his race truck.
And win number 39 for crew chief Eric Phillips, the winningest crew chief in series history, and John Hunter going to burn it down in celebration.
That's
what an impressive run today.
That's what it's all about, isn't it, Vince? Getting to burn those tires down, getting out of the truck and seeing fans in the stands cheering what you're able to accomplish. It's been a pretty special couple of weeks for this young man.
Became a dad. I don't know if winning races will ever top that, but it's, as you said, Mike, a pretty good time in his life, right?
You couple them together, it's special. Remember the last time we saw John Hunter Nemechek on FS1, he was really not very pleased. We're going to get to see the opposite of that today.
He got dumped by Matt Crafton at Bristol and was furious that his day had come to an end. But today, well, the other end of the emotional spectrum. Gets to grab that checkered flag and take off the helmet, do the winner's interview at Richmond. Win number 8 of his Truck Series career and his 2nd of the season. Jamie?
John Hunter Nemechek leads 114 laps. Last time we talked, you were a frustrated driver at Bristol. 2 days later, you became a dad. Now you come back here and dominate this race. How do you put all of that in perspective right now?
Never give up attitude. I just can't thank Kyle, everyone at Toyota, all of our great partners. It's pretty cool to be able to come out here and do what we did. We had a really fast truck. I'm super proud of all my guys and thankful for all them. Thankful for our partners, Safeway, Acme, all of our partners here with them. But I know the president is here from Safeway and Acme, so that's pretty cool to get them a win on their own turf, and thank you for believing in me. And it's pretty cool. Taylor and Aspen are actually here out in the motorhome, so hopefully we can get to celebrate with them here soon. I know it's been an amazing time with Aspen so far in this world, and it puts a lot of different things into perspective, but I just can't thank all my guys, all of our partners, everyone enough for believing in me and giving me this opportunity. And it's 2 wins. Hashtag here for wins. Let's go get more.
Very well said. A little different perspective when you become a dad, but it is a joyous day for sure for John Hunter Nemechek. Well, tomorrow it's race day from right here at Richmond, beginning at 12:30, leading you into the Cup race at 1:30, and then our next Camping World Truck Series race will come your way from Kansas on May 1st. For Jamie Little, Regan Smith, Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Baseball is next.